Hello YouTube, my name is Anthony and welcome to my very first YouTube video. Now my channel is called Atheist Anthony, so you can kind of guess what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be responding to mainly Christian videos because I live in Texas. It's just what I'm around. Now, I am an atheist. The way I became an atheist I'll discuss in another video because what I'm responding to today is going to take some time. I'm going to be responding to a man named Martin Baker. He put something on what's called creationistsciencestudy.wordpress.com. Now, on this site, he put something, he said, clever questions that atheists can't answer. I don't know if he still feels this way. Obviously, it's been 3 years, but I decided to give it a shot. Now, I do want to say it is 48 questions long, so I'm going to try to keep it short for time because no one wants to watch something that long. So, just as a preface, I did read these questions ahead. At one point, I do start thinking this might be satire. Now, I'm going to handle it as if it's not because I want to take everyone seriously. I want to make this channel a very friendly channel, very accessible. So, let's get into it. Question 1. If creationists can't do science, then why do Kent Hovind and Dwayne T. Gish, who are creation scientists, have professional degrees in science? Now, first and foremost, Kent Hovind has 0 degrees from accredited universities. He just doesn't. But also, second, if anyone says that a creationist can't do science, they're wrong. That's just flat out the way it is. Anyone can do science. Science isn't restricted to anybody. One of the main advances in science was in the Middle East before religion kind of screwed that up. But anyway, that's just wrong. Whether you're religious or not, you can do science. 2. If dinosaurs turned into birds, why are we not afraid of them? Well, there are people afraid of birds. That fear is called ornithophobia. But personally, this is just me. If I saw a bird the size of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, I'm running. That's just me. I'm being terrified. Question 3. If homosexuality is right, then how come 2 people of the same sex not produce a child? It isn't up for me to decide what is right and wrong, but by your logic, anyone who is straight but also sterile should not be allowed to get married at all because they can't have kids. Doesn't seem quite right, does it? Question 4. What purpose do we have if evolution is real? That's up to you. No, we give our own lives meaning. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people, religious or not, kind of go along the same lines when it comes to what their life means. People give their life meaning based on different things. Some people have it based on what they have. Some people base it off of who they have. If you have a family, you go, hey, my life has meaning because I'm taking care of my family. Or my life has meaning because I love my job and I'm contributing to the world in some kind of a way. But that's just how it is. People give themselves meaning. You don't need a higher power for that. Question 5. You say Jesus never existed, but have you heard of the Shroud of Turin? Of course I have. Yeah, I've heard of the Shroud of Turin. It's, something that's just out there. But if not even the Catholic Church recognizes it as the official Shroud of Jesus, then I have no reason to either. Question 6. Why do we not see humans being born in the zoos from monkeys if we came from monkeys? Because we didn't come from monkeys. We came from a common ancestor of chimpanzees. But I kind of have a hard time taking this question seriously because, really. Question 7. Why do we go to church if God is not real? Because you want to. You want to go to church. That's a question for you, not for me. I don't know why you go to church. I would guess that you would, though. Question 8. How did the Grand Canyon form? 5 to 6 million years of water erosion. Question 9. Do you know that Jesus loves you? Jesus needs to take me out to dinner before he can start throwing out words like love. Question 10. If Christianity is false, then why is it popular? Because it's a religion that has been widespread. But by your logic, the Big Mac is the best burger in the world because it's the best selling. I don't think anyone would say that the Big Mac is the best burger in the world. Question 11. If you say Christianity is not true, then why do hundreds of people continue to become saved every single day? Because of upbringing because hope makes them feel good. Fear is also one that is a very popular one. Question 12. Why do we not see half trees and half carrots, Frankies and crocoducks if evolution is real? Because none of those are close to each other in evolutionary branches. But I can see this is where I start thinking it's a little bit satire because of the sarcasm that I'm starting to read in all these questions. Question 13. Why is Richard Dawkins afraid to debate Ray Comfort? He isn't. He just feels that debating someone like Comfort is a waste of time, given Comfort's history of dodging questions and debates. However, Matt Dillahunty debated Comfort and absolutely just obliterated him. And I will provide the link to the debate in the link below because it is just fun. Question 14. Did you know Christopher Hitchens was saved before death? Citation needed. Question 15. Are you aware Ray Comfort disproved atheism with a banana? Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Ray Comfort and his banana theory, he went on a show with Kirk Cameron and basically said, he held a bit of a banana and said, look at the banana. This is the atheist nightmare. He said that because it was curved, it fit into the hand, and all this other stuff, that because the banana was the way it is, it proved the existence of God because the banana was made for humans, for human consumption. Now, Ray Comfort has issued an apology for this argument because he knows now that it is not true. The way the banana occurs naturally in the world looks like this. And the banana we get from Walmart and Kroger looks like this. And so, when you take a look, well, why is it different? Because it's been chemically altered by people to look the way it is. Question 16. Why do people laugh at evolutionists? Now, I don't know why they do. Honestly, I've never heard the word evolutionist before this video. It's a little bit of an odd term. I don't know of anyone who calls acceptors of evolution evolutionists. But if there's people laughing at others who accept evolution, then I don't know why. The only reason I could think of is that their religion has convinced them that evolution is not true. So I guess they believe that evolution isn't true and think that anyone who does is a fool. But that's because they don't understand evolution. Question 17. How did the planets form when the Big Bang explosion all of a sudden happened? He missed the ED. After all, you don't see round objects form when something blows up. I could be wrong. This is just my understanding of the Big Bang. It wasn't an explosion. It was a rapid expansion. So everything was cooped up in a tight marble-sized mass. All the matter in the world, it was just condensed. And then it rapidly expanded. It's called the Big Bang, but it wasn't a bang. It was there, and then went. But it didn't make that sound because it's space. So it was 13 to 14 billion years ago. It's a long time ago. Things happen. That's our best explanation right now. And that's just the way it is. Just to sum it up, no explosion. It was an expansion. Planets formed from the remains of stars. Just so you know, the Big Bang doesn't actually have to do with atheism, because atheism doesn't actually address anything. Question 18. If evolution is real, how can it explain gravity, angular momentum, human emotions, and why we worship God? It doesn't. Evolutionary theory explains evolution, and nothing more. Question 19. How did pond scum make living things appear out of nowhere? Natural selection combined with random mutation. Question 20. How can evolution be true if we don't see pocket watches or airplanes form by themselves? Because those are man-made items that are formed from a collection of natural-made materials to form objects. 21. Did you know that dinosaurs and man lived together? Once again, citation needed. There's no scientific proof of that. Question 22. If evolution is real, then why do caring people like Rex Santorum argue that it must be challenged in the classroom? Because he is a staunch Christian. Are you even trying? Question 23. Why are YouTube atheists like Aaron Raw and Thunderfoot afraid to debate Ray Comfort? See the question about Dawkins. Question 24. Why do we celebrate Christmas if Christianity is not real? The celebration of Christmas is actually a pagan ritual of the winter solstice or Saturnalia. In fact, in Jeremiah 10, 1 through 5, It specifically says not to decorate Christmas trees. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? Question 25. If creationists can't do science, then why does the website Answers in Genesis have proven science articles from creationists that do science? Not a single article from there has been peer-reviewed. Sorry. Question 26. If evolution is true, then why can't white people compete to be good in basketball like black people? After all, white people can't jump. What? They can. I mean, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, two of the best players of all time, Larry Bird. Just today, Danilo Gallinari is still playing. White people can easily play basketball. It's not limited to any one race. Question 27. Where do you decide to fit God in your everyday life if you don't believe in him? I don't fit him into my life any more than you fit Apollo into yours. Question 28. Why is Christianity the fastest growing religion if it's false? Fear and dogma. Question 29. Do you feel free to commit murders, homosexuality, go to strip bars, steal, commit adultery, and other sins since you believe there is no God? No, I do not. I actually live by my own set of moralities that I judge based on, is this action going to hurt or help the people around me? As Penn Jillette says, I have committed all the murder and raped all the people that I want to. That number is 0. Question 30. Why do the fossils say no to evolution? They don't. Question 31. Why did Darwin admit that how the eye formed is impossible? Because he didn't have the proper technology to research it. Since then, it has been developed, and explaining how the eye formed is quite easy. Question 32. Where did everything come from if there is no God? We don't know the origin of the first matter, but it's being worked on. I don't know is a better answer than a made-up one. Question 33. If there is no God, then why do we have laws that govern us, such as speed limits? These are man-made laws. There are roads in Europe, like the Autobahn, that have no speed limits. Question 34. Do you know where you're going to go when you die? I haven't decided where I want to be buried yet, but one thing I do know is that at my funeral, I want Highway to Hell by AC/DC to be played. Epic. Question 35. Why do we not act like monkeys if it is true we came from monkeys? On certain levels, we do. Question 36. Why do we display the 10 Commandments in the courtrooms if you say the Bible is not real? That is against the law. First Amendment, you can't display the 10 Commandments in any public paid space. That doesn't mean anything. If we displayed the tenets of a different religion, it wouldn't make that religion true. Question 37. Why should it be wrong to rape if God is not real? Like I said earlier, if my action hurts or harms someone else, I believe it is wrong. If someone rapes someone else, that is a harmful action towards that person, which is wrong. Point blank. Question 38. Why is The Passion of the Christ very high on the box office? Because there's a lot of people who watched it. This is a vastly Christian country, and they watched it. 39. How can America not be a Christian nation if there are more churches than mosques? It is a nation of mostly Christians, yes, but the government was specifically set up by the Founding Fathers to be secular. They wanted it to be secular because they came from England, where the Church of England, or the angelic religion, was very prominent. In England at the time, they were very, very harsh against people like Quakers and Baptists and Catholics and anyone who didn't belong to the church. So, when the Founding Fathers founded this country, they said, hey, we don't want that to happen. And they made it so that it wouldn't happen. Question 40. How is the Bible not real if it's the most popular book read by man? Again, popularity does not equal truth. By that logic, 50 Shades of Grey is better than Harry Potter and is not better than Harry Potter. Question 41. How did the moon form? 4.5 billion years ago, a giant object collided with the molten form that is now the Earth, forming the moon. That is a very simple explanation of the most popular theory. Question 42. Did you know that famous scientists like Newton, Sir Richard Owen, Einstein, Galileo, and Copernicus were creationists? Yes, I do, except for Einstein. But they were hindered by the technology of their time. As soon as they hit a point where they didn't know, they pointed to God. Because the technology of their time hit a limit, and then they're like, I can't explain this, it must be a higher power. Now, it continued to shrink along the lines, but if you want to go through that logic, the God of gaps argument, then God is a further shrinking area of scientific ignorance. And that was said very well by Neil deGrasse Tyson, probably a lot better than I could. Question 43. Why do we not see black people come from white people? DNA. Question 44. Why are fruit flies still fruit flies in lab experiments if they are claimed to prove evolution? Even though fruit flies have very, very short lifespans and reproduce vastly, you can't change a species overnight. Now, that being said, they have gotten to the point where if you have a fruit fly and then they do experiments over the years, there are two branching fruit fly species that can no longer breed with each other. And that is a change in species. There's no going around it. The species changed. Question 45. Did you know that the Piltdown Man was a hoax used for Darwinist propaganda? I mean, there have been instances where there was a fossil found that was later proven as false. When it was proven as false, the scientific community went and said, hey, this is wrong, and then they admitted it. Have you ever seen religion do that? Question 46. Why do we not see frogs turn into birds? Because birds did not come from frogs. Question 47. Why is Fox News dishonest if it is a network run by truthful Christians? All mainstream media is dishonest in some way, but are you saying that no Christian is capable of lying? Because that's not true. Question 48. Honestly, he saved the best for last. Why did Hitler fail to make a superior race if evolution is true? Well, because he shot himself in the head at the bottom of a bunker. Okay, that's not the serious answer. Because you can't make a superior race during one person's lifetime. I mean, if he wanted to make a superior race, he would have had to take over the world and go through, the concentration camps of every freaking country. It was never going to be done. And he had allies in Italy and Japan. He would have had to kill his allies in Japan. Obviously, if he would have taken over the world, he would have had those kinds of means, but you just can't do that. That last question is the biggest reason I think that this article might be satire, because, that's just a really, really crazy question. Now, there's a lot of crazy ones in here, and I think Martin knows that, but hey, that's just the way it is. Alright guys, that is the 48 questions that atheists cannot answer, pretty much answered. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe. You can find me on Twitter right here. I'm Atheist Anthony, and I'll see you next time.